Hello everyone, this is Professor Reimer. This video is for my world history class on Monday, November 2nd and Tuesday, November 3rd. It's entitled Unit 3, DOL 1, Tang and Song China. And our objective is we will explain the major political, economic, and cultural developments of Tang and Song China by creating a piece of paper money for China. Now, as we do most days, we're going to start off with a preview activity in order to get you engaged and get your brains awake. So here it is. I want you to brainstorm for 2 minutes what you remember about China previously from the Han Dynasty and before. Like just a brain bark. Just set the timer, 2 minutes. What do you remember? Pause the video. Ready, set, go. Okay. If you missed some things or couldn't remember, here are some examples of what you should have or could have written down about what we have studied about China previously. Confucianism, Taoism, that was from our previous unit on classical China. Civil service exam, bureaucracy, legalism, that philosophy of Xin Di, the introduction of Buddhism, silk production, agricultural-based economy, patriarchal society, veneration of ancestors. This is just to name a few. All right, before we get further into today's lesson, let me step back and say that yes, we have started a new unit, as I explained in the video, another video. It's called Post-Classical Era. And so what we're going to do is see how those traditions and systems that really took root in the classical age continued into the new era, how they changed, and then we're also going to look at some new civilizations in this time period. And then in the next unit, we're going to see more of the linkages between these various civilizations that we're going to study. But today we're studying Tang and Song China. They get its name from the major dynasties of this era, the Tang dynasty and the Song dynasty. And what China does after a period of turmoil and disorder, many hundreds of years, they are able to reconstitute their old empire and they revive many of their old traditions and systems and to make a very vibrant and dynamic and powerful civilization. And as we said in our objective, if we go back to our objective, we're going to look at the major political, economic, and cultural developments. But these political, economic, and cultural developments, they build on what came before. And that building on of what came before is something historians call context. And this is our major skill for this unit. So here's your introduction to contextualization. It describes a broader historical context relevant to a prompt or topic. Our topic, Tang and Song China. So we will look for a broader something, this broader context. It's going to relate to an essay prompt or a topic of investigation, to broader historical events. Okay, now we're getting deeper into what it means. Broader historical events, developments, or processes that occur before the time frame. So we step back and we widen our lens and we want to see what influenced whatever it is we're writing about or studying. For those of you who like the theater, we're setting the stage. Actors don't go out normally onto an empty stage. There are props and there are items out there that helps tell the story of the action. Now, for us, it needs to be immediately relevant and not just random events, dates, facts, etc. A lot of times, students just like to barf up everything they remember, kind of what we did in the preview activity, and that helps. But then you have to connect the dots for your readers, and as almost everything in this course, it's going to relate to the course themes, and it is not a skill that's going to come natural to you, but it is a skill you can master. And one way to help with that is I love TV shows, and I know many of you love TV shows. And on so many TV shows, they introduce a new episode with a statement like previously on, and then they give you a glimpse into what happened on the previous episodes. Why? To help give you context, to help you understand the episode you're about to watch. Now, do they just choose random scenes from previous episodes? No, they choose scenes that are directly related to the episode you're about to watch. So that is what you need to do in a contextualization statement. So let's practice. I want you to write a 3 to 4 sentence contextualization statement. That's typically how long they are. For the following topic sentence: I am a high school student at Polytechnic High School in Fort Worth, Texas. So think of this like you're introducing yourself. What does this new person need to know about the background of these statements in your sentence to help understand what you're saying? In other words, like if you were meeting an alien from another world and they visited you and you say, hey, who are you? And I'm a high school student at Polytechnic High School, Fort Worth, Texas. And they're going to go, was a high school student? Where's Fort Worth? Polytechnic, what is that? They're not going to have any kind of context to understand what you have just told them. You have to explain it to them, like where you came from. I am, like, okay, but who are you? What is a high school? Where is Fort Worth, Texas? It's those kinds of descriptive sentences that gives context. So practice now, and if you want, throw them in the chat, and I'd love to read them. So pause the video. All right, today we're doing something new, and I think something a bit more exciting to explore our theme of explaining the major political, economic, and cultural developments of Tang and Song China. We're going to explore some documents. So in this class, to learn about our various topics, we've primarily, we've only used secondary sources. So secondary sources are sources not produced by eyewitnesses. They're produced later, typically by historians or journalists, and they're writing and describing things they didn't see or witness, but they read about and then wrote about. So today, for the first time, we're going to explore primary sources. And so primary sources are the main resource for historians to analyze the past and to describe what happened and why. So primary sources are produced by people living at the time who witnessed an event, or they might also be, artifacts that were produced during that time period. And we are going to explore 12 of them today. And what I want you to do is, for each document, I want you to write a one-sentence description of what it says about Chinese society, a characteristic of Chinese society. So let's preview, like good historians we are, let's preview what they look like. So here we are. They're labeled A through L, right? And you see it in the top right-hand corner of the letter. We're scrolling through, there's B. So here we go. This is a primary source, right? It is an artifact that was produced during this time. It's an example of paper money. We scroll on, we see, oh, another primary source, a coin from the time period. Okay, we're scrolling on. D, look, another primary source, a printed book from the time period. Here we go. So this is a map of a city during the Tang Dynasty. Scrolling on, F, we have another map, this time of the Grand Canal. We're scrolling on. Oh, look, another primary source. This is a picture of a crossbow. Scrolling on. Oh, now we have a written primary source. This is from an emperor's edict on the suppression of Buddhism. And we're scrolling to I, another primary source, written primary source, and J, this secondary source, written later about the events in the past. And here's K. Photograph is the photograph a primary source. It can be sometimes. This isn't a photograph of someone from 1925, but it illustrates a practice that goes back years and years. And then a diagram, not a primary source. Here would be a secondary source. All right, so these are the documents you are going to analyze and use to meet our objective of describing the political, economic, and cultural developments of Tang and Song China. So just make a very simple 2-column chart like this. Pause the video, make it now. All right, let's do one together. So document A, we'll go over to document A. Remember, we're looking for characteristics of Chinese society. We're going all the way back up, back up, back up, back up. And whenever you look at documents, just step back and observe. Use your 5 W's, who, what, where, and when, to meet your objective. Remember, we're looking for characteristics of Chinese society. We see here the tagline. This is Empress Wu, right? We're noticing her facial features. We're noticing her clothes, and we're trying to make some generalizations about her and about the time in which she lived. Also, historians and history teachers love to give you little taglines and descriptions to help you better understand the document. Don't ignore those. They often have great information. Although the overwhelming majority of rulers in China were male, there were examples of female rulers. And we could have probably figured that out, that she was a ruler, based on her clothes and her headgear, right? This is not the attire of a peasant. This is the attire of someone of wealth and importance. So let's just take this descriptive sentence here and add it into our chart, because it gives us some information about Chinese society. Although the overwhelming majority of rulers in China were male, that's something about Chinese society. There were examples of female rulers like Empress Wu. And check this out. This first part of the sentence, although the overwhelming majority of rulers in China were male, that is a great contextualization statement. It helps us understand that Empress Wu was a bit unique. Why? Because most of the rulers in China were male. Giving that kind of background information, that's contextualization. That is what we need to be practicing this unit. All right, so you're going to do that for all of the documents. So go ahead and pause the video and do that now. All right, now, once you've got all the documents, you're going to need to sort them into a get sick chart. You thought we were done with these, but we're not. And if you're going to need more context for some of the documents, where should you go? You should go to your main resource in the class, the textbook, all right, which is a great source for more information, some more background, some more contextualization. We're working with Chapter 11, Lesson 1, China Reunified. That is where you should go to get some more information for your Get Sick chart. All right, once you've done all that, right, you really learned about the political, economic, cultural developments of Tang and Song China. Now you're going to do something fun, something we haven't done yet in this class, and you are going to create your own Chinese paper currency. If you wanted to know a little bit more about Chinese paper money with some examples, there's an article. But what you're going to do, either on a piece of white paper, or if you want to get really awesome, you can do it digitally, but you don't have to. You're going to create 2 large rectangles, one on front, one on back, right? And based on what you have learned about China during this time, you're going to select an important person and 4 symbols to be placed on the obverse, fancy word for front. So 1 person, 4 symbols, and a structure with 4 or more symbols to be placed on the obverse or on the back. And if you're looking for some more examples, just take out your wallet and look at an American dollar bill, right? It is filled with imagery and symbols that describe our country and our achievements. That is what you're doing in this assignment. Don't forget about the description at the end. I'm out of time. See you next time.